Okay, so I wanted to make a video about raising our vibration through releasing traumas and negative emotions. So there are some really good books on this topic. One of them is The Metaphysical Anatomy, and I'll link that book in the description if you're interested in giving it a read. And basically, the idea is that your experience is almost like a fractal tree, right? So if you can think about the trees behind me, there's so many leaves on this tree, and each of those leaves correspond to an experience in your life. And if for any reason that one of those leaves may be holding on to a frequency signature of trauma, then that tree trunk, the roots, contain in them a connection to that frequency signature, which is trauma. So in order to ensure that your soul tree fractal is able to expand and grow, and I think that's the biggest thing here, is that this is also, you can expand. So you learn your lessons, you transfigure the experience, and once that's been done, those leaves on your tree are no longer containing that frequency signature of trauma, and that's basically when we can continue growing and expanding, and we're no longer in a cycle of setting ourselves up for learning experiences that we may have already been through, and instead of going through something similar in the future, so long as we look at those traumatic experiences and transfigure them. And if you're doing something like that, I always recommend connecting to Source and asking Source for assistance. So that is, in essence, if I can kind of summarize it to the best of my ability, it would be really getting into a place of meditation, and then again asking Source for assistance. If you work with any of the archangels, you can call them in to assist you as well, and then asking Source to bring you to that next highest priority trauma or shadow experience. And once you're there in your imagination, just asking Source to assist you in forgiving, releasing, and letting go, and just see that whole experience is being dissolved into white light. And you may have to do something like this more than once in order to get the full effect. And so again, forgiveness is huge in something like this. So just being able to bring that into your traumatic experience, just asking for forgiveness, or just forgiving yourself first. Yeah, so these are the types of things that for me are very important, and I've noticed just by doing this, I'm able to do certain things that that in the past I would have issues with. Now I'm able to do very easily. And I think a lot of that has to do with actually just looking within myself. What experiences have I had in the past that were not in alignment with what I wanted to create? And if there's any experiences that were not in alignment with you, but if you felt like you were in any way forced to do something in the past, and you feel like that kind of control, this is just one example. So if you feel like there was if you feel like there was an experience where you had less control, or you gave control to outside circumstances, that's something that I personally have cleared within myself, and that just from experience having done that. For example, if I felt like I was giving my control away to um, any kind of group of individuals, just looking at that and looking what kind of lessons can I learn from something like this? How would I change this in the future? What's the lesson there? And it may be just, again, it's always love, right? The lesson for me is always, how can you live from your heart? How can you, right? So for me, a lot of that just goes back to love. You may find, again, the way that expresses itself, depending on the context, will be different depending on your unique experience. But just having a look at all of those experiences, things where you gave your power away to external circumstances, things where you may need to forgive yourself, things where experiences that, again, um, cause those really stagnant emotions, things like that can, again, um, cause those emotions to contain that frequency signature on our fractal tree, our soul tree. And it's just very important, especially during this time with the ascension process. We want to be raising our vibration as much as possible, as humans, as you're experiencing this human body. And obviously there's many other ways that we can raise our vibration. This is something that we can, by doing that inner work, we're going to find the way that it's happened to me is that I find that it really shifts my reality. So I just wanted to share that. If you have any tips that you'd like to share, if you work with color, crystals, geometry, deep breathing, anything that has assisted you in doing this type of clearing on yourself, please let me know, and I'd really love to read those comments. So thank you for listening, and see you later.